Domo arigato, Mr. Robocapo. Robocop, released in 1987 and is directed by Paul Verhoeven, who's directed such films like Total Recall, Basic Instinct, Showgirls, and Starship Troopers. The man just knows how to take a crappy B-movie concept and turn it into one of the most intelligent things you have ever seen on screen. And the film stars Peter Weller, Nancy Allen, Daniel O'Hillery, Ronnie Cox, Kirkwood Smith, and Miguel Ferreira. And this film comes from a recommendation from one of my subscribers, Zach Couch. Thank you very much for the recommendation of Robocop. Again, another recommendation of a movie that shouldn't be this good and this smart, but yet it just does it so beautifully. In another film that represents a dystopian future, we visit Detroit, Michigan, that is struggling to keep the crime rate down in the city. I mean, that's not really the future. Have you been to Detroit? And Omni Consumer Products is determined to introduce a new wave of crime fighters. Enter the first prototype, Robocop. That is a cybernetic exoskeleton that has been fused to previously pronounced dead officer Alex Murphy. So now Murphy roams the streets of Detroit trying to rid the city of crime and the people who tried to murder him. Now, growing up, I remember seeing bits and parts of this movie. I never watched it all the way through up until a couple of years ago. I picked up the whole trilogy of Robocop movies. It was only like $5, and I remember being shocked when I first saw it and being shocked again this time just how good this movie is and how much it holds up still, especially in terms of these visual effects. This is 1987. When I think of 1987, I think of kind of like cheesy, prosthetic-y, you can tell that this is not real type visual effects. Like in Die Hard, that is clearly a dummy being thrown out of a window and falling to the ground. But in here, with the use of practical effects, the costuming of Alex Murphy in that suit of Robocop, even the stop motion of the big machine gun willing machine cop, that looked believable to me. And typically for me, stop motion fused into live action scenes, it draws me out of the film. But I was invested here, and I wasn't the only one that thought so. This film was nominated for 3 Academy Awards: Sound Editing and Sound Mixing and Best Film Editing. Technical awards, of course, but God, this film absolutely deserves it. The essence of this film, the aesthetic of this film, it screams 80s to me. The dressing styles, the hairstyles, the grittiness of the film quality, that is the 80s for me. But the ideas, the themes that this film represents, they're timeless, and they're even more prominent now. Consumerism, greed, corporate takeovers, the influence of media on a society, privatization, all of this film represents and puts in the forefront and are still major topics today. The film opens up and it takes a good 10 minutes before we actually go to the Detroit police precinct and we meet Alex Murphy for the first time. Because the first 10 minutes is all these news reports of crimes being committed in the city, different corporations taking over, what are happening in big board meetings, and then we get commercials for things like cybernetic hearts, things of that nature. This film is so intelligent. And surprisingly, I like the performances in here too. In particular, Kirkwood Smith. My God, that man is an asshole. At least he plays an asshole in almost every movie that he's in. Dead Poets Society, he's an asshole on That 70s Show, and he is a major asshole dick in this movie. He is ruthless too. He will shoot your hand off. He will shoot you just endlessly for like 5 minutes just because he gets a kick out of it. I don't think enough people talk about him for the great movie villains of all time. And he's not really the big baddie. He's almost like henchman level or like lieutenant henchman level. Still a pretty badass villain. And Peter Weller, he plays Robocop. He is Alex Murphy. It is so weird seeing all of these actors so young, except Kirkwood Smith. He always looks like he's at least in his 50s. But he comes in, he doesn't really have any wrinkles on his face. It's so weird. And he takes the idea of the cybernetic humanoid to heart. All of the different movements that he makes, I love these little nuances. His body will turn first and then his head will follow. And you wonder what the concept is behind this human being infused into this robotic suit. Like, how do you put him in there? And when he removes his helmet, you see that it's really just part of his skull and his face just attached to this cybernetic brain, which the prosthetics in this film are top-notch. They're beautiful. It doesn't look stupid or cheesy or fake in any way. When that helmet comes off and you see Peter Weller's face on the Robocop body, it looks like it belongs. The prosthetics, stunning here, and they still hold up. I forgot also how bloody this movie is. Like, a lot of guns go off, and a lot of bullets actually hit people in this movie, and blood just spurts everywhere, and the blood packs, the explosions of blood on the body, well done. It doesn't look like a cheap TV show. No, the bullets here actually rip through the body. It's just, I have nothing but great things to say about this movie. The one thing that kind of irked me, that sadly enough it is in the script, even though I think this script is brilliant and it dives into a lot of great themes that are being presented here, the ending of this movie is very abrupt. Typically in a movie like this, we would get some kind of a setup or resolution to what's happening, what would happen to Robocop, what would happen to the city, what would happen to this corporation. But no, Robocop just kind of takes out the bad people and the movie ends. Like, no resolution at all. And that irked me when I first saw it, and it irked me still today. But really, other than that, again, this film is brilliant. It is so intelligent, and I couldn't recommend it more. We have great concepts behind cinematography. We have the POV shot of Robocop when the scientists are working on him, screwing on the computers and screwing on the helmet, so that we see exactly how Robocop sees. I love it! I'm reminiscing to a time when every kid that I knew had a Robocop action figure, but I never had one. With this film being as bloody as it is, my parents would have killed me if I saw this movie without their permission. And anything attached to it because it's just so bloody and horrific and guns and things. Yeah, nope, no Robocop action figure. Such a shame. This film is just fine how it is. I don't know why they tried to remake it a couple of years ago, or maybe, I think maybe it's like 5 years ago. That, to my knowledge, did not go so well. I haven't seen it, but I can only imagine that it didn't go so well because it didn't have the same spark, the same intelligence, the same energy as this film does. I'm gonna give Robocop 4.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I think I see blue. He looks glorious.
I'm shocked that I'm giving it that high of a score. Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part in my videos where I pick which movie I'm going to be watching next at random, so let's take a look. That brings me back to my childhood. Space Jam! Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. Come on and slam, and walk up to the jam. Back when Michael Jordan was the god among men here on this planet. When everything basketball was Michael Jordan. That was back when I was a huge basketball fan. I have fallen out over the last 10 years, and it's very intimidating trying to get back into that world, trying to figure out, okay, who's who now, who are the players, what are the stats and everything. But back then, back in the 90s, it was all the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan. And I loved this movie growing up. I saw it so many times the year that it came out. So I am very excited to check it out again. Hey, Zach Couch, thank you very much for the recommendation of Robocop. If any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, please leave your comment below this video, or go to my Facebook page, my Instagram, or my Twitter. Leave your recommendation there, and if I have access to it, I will watch, review it, and give you a shout out on the channel. So everyone, have you seen Robocop? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before, and you stumbled across it because of this video, please comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2019. We passed 500 subscribers a couple of weeks ago. Thank you so much for everyone who is supporting this channel and supporting me in my hobby. But let's hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, because if we do, I get to torture myself for your enjoyment by watching the movie Arachnophobia. It's torture for me. Who doesn't want to see that? So everyone, I will see you next time with my review of Space Jam. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.